for your cooperation. Good afternoon, everyone. Please allow me, Al-Anud Al-Zaban, to welcome you all in the 4th Annual English Language Conference 2026, jointly organized by the Queen Rania Teacher Academy and Georgia State University. This year's conference theme, Inclusive English Teaching in a Changing World, reflects our shared commitment to creating learning environments where every student feels seen, valued, and empowered to succeed. Over the course of this conference, educators, researchers, and practitioners from around the world are coming together to exchange ideas, share experiences, and explore innovative approaches to English language teaching in today's rapidly evolving educational landscape. At QRTA, the mission has always centered on empowering educators and improving the quality of teaching and learning through professional development, collaboration, and innovation. Together with GSU, the partnership continues to build bridges between global expertise and local educational impact, making this conference an important platform for meaningful dialogue and professional growth. Before we begin, I would like to encourage everyone to actively participate in today's session. As you listen to the presentation, please feel free to prepare your questions and share them in the chat box throughout the session. We will have a question and answer segment at the end. It is now my pleasure to introduce our speaker, Sadia Tariq, a teacher trainer and vice principal with extensive classroom experience who works closely with emerging and experienced educators to strengthen inclusive teaching practices. She specializes in supporting teachers with differentiation, learner-centered planning, and creating equitable classroom where every student feels valued, capable, and actively engaged in learning. Her works reflects a deep commitment to fostering inclusive and supportive educational environment for all learners. Today, Ms. Sadia will be speaking with us about inclusive English teaching practices in a changing world, practical strategies for diverse classrooms. Please join me in giving warm welcome to Sadia Tariq. Welcome, Ms. Sadia, and you may begin.
Hello, everybody. Thank you so much for such nice introduction. I'm really touched. It's almost night in Pakistan, 9 a.m. So wherever you are across the globe, greetings from Pakistan. So I'm gonna share my presentation with you now.
Anud, please make Sadia co-host.
Co-host. Done.
Okay. Let me just, I'll start with his. I'll start presenting. Yes. Is my screen visible to all of you?
Yes, it is.
Okay. So this is what the presentation is about. It's about practical strategies. Can you help me with this bar, please? Okay. Practical strategies for diverse classrooms. How come it's not? Yes. The session objectives. Today, what we are going to learn is we will be identifying the key characteristics of any inclusive classroom. We'll be able to analyze our own teaching practices through the inclusive lens, and we'll be able to apply at least three practical strategies in a classroom for diverse learners. And at the end, I will be asking all of you to think of one immediate action for your own classrooms for one particular case where you actually felt struggling, or you felt that there is a struggling student in your class who needed differentiation and you couldn't, initially you couldn't find a solution, and maybe hopefully by the end of this session you will think of a strategy or a plan for that struggling individual in your class. Basically, my entire experience, although I started as a lecturer with the older age group, but for the past 15 years, I've been working with the younger lot, starting from early years, early primary and primary. So today's presentation is mainly going to be focused on the primary and early primary students. But yes, feel free to tweak all those strategies as per the age groups that you're dealing with. The session flow will be starting with the introduction and a bit of reflection. We'll be moving on to understanding what is actually the meaning and the need of inclusion, why inclusion is important to ensure that each and every learner in the classroom feels belonging and feels at ease and comfortable. We'll be thinking of different practical strategies, and we'll be having an interactive reflection at the end, followed by a wrap-up Q&A session. Here we'll be moving from ideas to real classroom applications. So to begin with, I would request all of you to open mentimeter.com or scan the QR code directly from this slide and answer the question, what does inclusive classroom mean? I would like all of you to just opt for one of the options. There are three options given, and there is no right or wrong. It's just my way of assessing that how well you're aware of the meaning of inclusive classrooms. So I'm giving you 1 minute, and once we are done, I'll be showing you the results of my poll. So please let me know once you guys are done. So here. Are you all able to access the Mentimeter? You may respond in the chat. So yes, I know that it's accessible. Okay, let's see what the majority is saying. Okay, so all of you have opted for equity. Yes, so you all have a clear understanding. It was very, yes, easy one. I'm glad that all of us here are at least on this one main page, one same page, that we all know what it is about. So yes, let me present again. Just a sec. Sorry for this. Yes. Oopsie. Apologies for this inconvenience. Yes, we are back on the presentation. So why inclusion matters? Inclusion is about recognizing and valuing diversity. Not every learner in our classroom is the same. They all are the same age group. They all may be coming from the same nationality, but they all have different capabilities. They all have different special needs. They all have different backgrounds, and there are times when they might be behaving different on one particular day, and they are in a different mood or different performance level on one day. So this is where the equity matters the most. So as we discussed, and I saw from the poll that you all know that it's the equity that is the most important thing in any inclusive classroom. But are we actually clear about the idea of equity? Because there most of the times, or at several times, equity is confused with equality. So what actually is the difference between equity and equality? Does it mean providing the same instructions and same resources to all our learners? Is it what true equity is? Okay, now look at this image. It gives us a clear picture of the difference between equality and equity. A teacher who's saying that I'm offering the same instructions to all my learners, we are providing the same resources to all our learners, still few of them are performing way better than the other, is not clear about the idea that it's not the same resources or same support for all that matters. It's the different support based on the individual needs that is the key to success. So once we are aware of the individual needs, of the capability of our learners, we are well equipped to facilitate them, to provide them, and to ensure that the progress is there for each and every learner of ours. So Now I would like all of you to just let's learn from each other. I want you guys to share real life examples of your own classrooms, of times when you struggled with differentiation, maybe, and there could be many reasons. There are times when we know, yes, differentiated instruction is needed. There are times when we know that that particular individual child in a class needs extra attention, some more minutes of ours, maybe additional resources or support. But we might be bound because of the time constraints or maybe because of some other factors. So I would like to hear of the stories from your real life experiences. Please feel free to write in the chat, and if Anu allows us, I think we can have the mics open for those who wish to contribute verbally. Since we are talking about inclusion and we're talking about differentiation, me myself would like it better to say it verbally instead of typing. So if it's allowed in the session by the moderator, I can have the verbal contribution as well. And it can be one success story as well, where you succeeded with differentiation. Initially, you felt that it's impossible and you won't be able to contribute to the progress or to the growth of any of your student, but at the end something worked like miracle. So it can be a success story, it can be a struggle. Please write in the chat or feel free to add through mic if it's loud. I would like to see the chat. Yes, if there are any contributions here. Yeah, there are times when you have too many levels. Yes, you are right. Crowded club, it's very, very true. The crowded classrooms with a variety of students, low motivation towards learning. You're absolutely right. Challenges like students who struggle, I used encouragement. Yeah, this is my firm belief, although there is a different school of thought that believe that over the counter praise or giving incentives is not encouraged. But with in my case, and I use the same, being a team lead, I have noticed irrespective of the age, generous appreciation and acknowledgement always result in better performance. A time I struggled with Hussam has added, a time I struggled with differentiation in grade 3 Arabic lesson. I gave all students the same reading activity. Some students finished quickly while others struggled to read and answer the questions. I realized the activity didn't meet the different learning levels in the classroom. At times, I succeeded with differentiation. In grade 3 math lesson about multiplication, I divided students into groups based on their abilities. One group used pictures and blocks, and others solved simple problems. Very good strategy. I would highly appreciate that. Different learning styles, and yeah, this is something very challenging when the age group, the ability group, and the size of the group. When all three or four challenges are all together, oh my goodness, 50 students in one classroom, I can feel the pain. But are you supported with any learning support teacher there? The one who mentioned 50 students in one classroom. Is there any learning support around? Because 50 students who mixed ability, we cannot. In these are called the mainstream. Oh my goodness. May Allah give you strength and may Allah support you with uh, whatever is there for you. You are right. And once we know that we can provide more, there could be more differentiation, there could be individual attention, but we are bound by multiple constraints. There are times when we have this guilt in us. But you know what? If you're well prepared, there'll be few strategies where you can use the support of the learners from your classroom. You can use the high achievers of your classroom, and you can pair them with the ones who are struggling. Or maybe if you plan a bit more extensively, you can bring in resource for the struggling ones. You can bring pre-prepared resource, and once you train your students on those lines, they start following that lesson flow, and you will be amazed. I know a big group is challenging, but if we plan thoughtfully, and if we plan a bit more extensively, even this bigger number can be catered quite effectively. How can I always make sure that the high achievers are teaching the correct concepts? Is this about the peers teaching the students? We wholly solely never rely on the students teaching the other students. I will be discussing few strategies, like, for example, I believe, thank you so much for your contributions, really highly appreciated. If I have missed any question, I am sorry for that. I tried to having a gifted student and a group of extremely below level students within the same class. I have had such scenario, and I'll be elaborating. But yeah, I'll be getting back to this. Challenging challenges like students who struggle. I used encouragement. I have covered. So okay, I'm closing the chat now, and I am going back to my presentation. I would like to explain a few things. One where you mentioned a bigger group, and then how can you be sure that your high achiever is teaching the right thing. It's never encouraged to have a younger child of yours teaching independently, and there is no follow up of that. So what could be done is, first of all, just I'll be getting to in order to avoid the wastage of time, I'll be getting back to that once we'll be on that particular slide. Here are few strategies, inclusive teaching practices that can be implemented in the classroom to ensure that each and every learner is accommodated, and to ensure that progress is there. We can never have the same benchmarks for all the learners of our class. We can never, it's not fair. Because just like if you set a finish line for a turtle and for a rabbit, and you give them the same time, and the mileage is also the same, although we all know that one can run way faster than the other. So setting that finish line at the same level won't be fair. So first thing is to know your learners. Value their identities, cultures, backgrounds, capabilities, abilities. And once the teacher is aware, even for a bigger group like 50 or 40 students, I know it won't happen overnight, but since those students are with us for the whole year, teach, or where I am leading a team, we go for the homeroom teaching system where the teachers are taking care of a group of students for multiple years. They move ahead with the same group. So they are more equipped with the individual differences knowledge of each and every learner, and they are more at ease to provide them. And since they're taking care of all the core learning areas all together by their own selves, they can manage the time accordingly. Second is creating a welcoming environment for your students, a safe, respectful space. Because once we feel we are respected, once we feel our voice is valued, once we feel that if we ask a wrong question, or if we respond with a wrong answer, we won't be discouraged, we won't be snubbed. This confidence is not the answers. Third is giving clear instructions. There are times when we are in a rush and we want to finish that particular subject or topic before the upcoming assessment, and we walk into the class and we say, okay, today's concept is this, let's read this, let's do this, let's do this. So multiple instructions in one cue without breaking them into chunks and going in a flow is not an effective way to deliver any concept, any idea to any age group, even at our ages, even for the adults. It's better to break it into pieces, to have clear instructions, to use visual supports in order to facilitate. Fourth is encourage inclusive interaction. This is where what I was talking about. Use pair, use group work, ensure every voice is heard. Don't ask them to teach the others. What could be done is if you have given them a concept for brainstorming, or to just you have given them a passage to read which they are going to comprehend and answer multiple questions about that passage, you can pair one bright student with the one who is struggling, one slow reader with one who is a fluent reader. They can read together. They can be there to think, pair, and share. They can the one can support in reading the passage, although the other might be a more intelligent one and can come up with, should I check the chat? Is there something that I should be responding to? I find it unfair for the bright ones to discuss with those who can barely. Oh, trust me, it's not like that. It's never like that. Having been there, having experienced, they feel. And there were times in my classrooms where I had foreign students. I used to teach in an organization which was run by Turkish people. So there were kids who were just native Turkish speakers. They couldn't speak our mother tongue or English. So we used to my other students of my class used to learn the Turkish basic vocabulary words just to facilitate the one who was in the classroom. They never felt that it's a waste of time, and they never felt that it's a burden. Although at times, yes, this is what I'm telling my teachers as well, that it shouldn't be a regular practice, because once we are planning a differentiated lesson, there should be something for each and every learner. There should be something challenging enough to keep those high achievers engaged. There should be something for the middle bracket. There should be something for the ones who are struggling. So that something can be, again, in the third slide from this onwards, I'll be explaining the strategies where we are going to support them with different multiple resources. So I'll be moving to that. Use multiple ways of presenting. It's another way of supporting. It's another way of ensuring inclusive teaching practices. For example, use visuals, use audios, real life examples. Once we are quoting the real life examples, I always speak about my family. I always speak about my personal experiences. Once I start, my learner starts expressing, starts adding on, irrespective of having the idea that they know it or no, they start narrating their own personal experiences. And this is our way of giving them the confidence that yes, they are capable. Then comes differentiate for learning. Offer choices, flexible tasks, and scaffold support. Offering choices means there are few, again, as I have mentioned, there are few who are good at writing. They can just simply write passage. There will be few who are good at creativity. They can present the same idea through a poster. There will be few who are good at expressing. They can present those posters. So there should be opportunities and choices for them. Once we give them the voice by giving them the faith that it's safe to express, once we give them the choice that yes, you can express or do it this way, or this way. Once they are given the voice choice, they automatically start taking the ownership of their own learning. And it's not just said for the sake of saying it. I have actually experienced, and trust me when I say, even the earliest age group, the early years, the kindergartens, grade ones, I have seen them evolve, I have seen them progress. So it's coming from personal experiences. Build belonging and confidence. This is what actually matters. Once you know you can do it, once you know you have it, then there is no stopping you. And it goes for all age groups. All that's needed is there's another comment. They need challenges. Yes, you're right. The ones who are exceeding the expectations, they need challenges. Again, they develop leadership, empathy. Absolutely right. And when we say they need challenges, we should be, for example, if you're giving a passage writing or if you're giving a picture description for the whole class, let me be a bit more elaborate when we say differentiation. For the ones who are struggling, we will be giving them picture clues or word clouds, a vocabulary bank, or sentence starters. For the ones who are high achievers, we will be giving them uh, a bit more complex vocabulary, or maybe the word limit would be higher than the ones given to the and always give rubrics, always give a checklist. That is an amazing way to develop the habit of self-assessment in your learners. Even the struggling ones will know that we have to, and that rubrics can be different. This is again where we can provide differentiation. We can say that the word bank or the word limit is starting from this, the minimum of this to maximum of this. So the ones who are not able to write extensive lengthy passages should be given a shorter word limit, should be given few. If you're writing about, if you're talking about grade one, tell them we can have this many adjectives, 6 adjectives in that passage for at the minimum, and you can use as many, and then the complex vocabulary. So this is another way of setting the success criteria at different levels for the mixed ability group. Yes, dear, they develop. Is there anything else? Okay, I am actually simultaneously checking the chat just to ensure that all your questions or responses are covered. Okay, moving on to the next slide. This is one of the practical strategy which works really well for the ones who lack confidence, for the ones who are short of vocabulary. You give them an idea, you present a provocation in your class, and you tell them to think about it, and then you pair them with the peers where they actually share their thoughts, their ideas, and with each other. When we say pair, they're sitting together, they're discussing, okay, I think it could be this and I think it could be that. And then they're having a discussion. And afterwards, with the confidence, with more evolved, more elaborate ideas, they share it to a bigger group. So it gives them confidence that yes, we can express in front of the whole class. And initially, it can be one who is more confident, but trust me, after a month or so, or by the mid of the term, even the one who was not willing to share in front of the whole class would be opting on his or her own. Okay, now I feel that I can be the one who will be sharing or presenting it in front of the other classrooms. Then there is another strategy which is very effective. Although there is a school of thought who believes that it can restrict their individuality or uniqueness, but it ensures maximum participation. Once you tell your class that they have to write about something and you give them sentence starters, it ensures that each and every one of them is going to contribute and participate. Some of them might not be using those sentence starters. Don't never say that this is the only sentence starters that they can use. You can give this to the whole class and leave the choice again to them either to use these or think of their own. This is going to be a good support for those who are struggling, and they will know where to start from and how this can be used to express their own ideas. So this is another very effective and successful strategy which has always worked very well in the classroom. Third one is visual support. There are times when we are unable to think or when we are unable to perceive an idea in a concrete manner until unless we see an image, we see a video or a chart or a rubric or a checklist. All these are contributing factors to the comprehension. So there are times when there are multiple times being an IB educator. There are times when we are inquiring, but just one image or one picture is proves to be way more effective than in explaining the idea or concept or presenting as a provocation to initiate inquiry than me standing there explaining in multiple ways. So visual support is another very effective way to improve understanding and to ensure maximum participation of all the learners. When I say visual support, I would like to mention the mind maps that can be made collectively along with the whole class support. Once you start explaining anything, get the ideas from your learners and make a mind map or tell them to do it on their own. You can make small groups and tell them to first make a mind map and then use that mind map which they have made collectively to write their individual writing tasks. Then the charts, again, anchor charts can be there, visual schedules can be there, checklists to check their own progress, and then it can be first start from self-assessment, moving on to peer assessment. So this is another good way to be used in your classrooms as a support to ensure differentiation and to ensure inclusion. Let's move on to the next one.
Miss Sadia, we have 3 minutes left.
3 minutes? Okay.
Yeah, I'm sorry to interrupt.
No problem. Thank you so much for informing. I'm sorry I lost the track.
It's okay.
Okay. So here I have planned a Padlet activity for all of you, where we will be talking about one student in your classroom that struggled a lot, and today, maybe after the at the end of this session, you can think of a possible solution for that particular learner of yours. And as I believe all of you have scanned the QR code, let me just paste the link in the chat for those who are unable to scan. So you can directly open the Padlet wall. Here it is for you. Yes, please. Are you able to access it? Let me see. I'll be opening just a sec. Are you guys able to open the Padlet?
No, it takes us to University of People
Apologies.
Master of Education.
Apologies. I am so sorry. Just a sec. Let me. Actually, I copied another link. Yes.
It's
Can
okay.
you scan? Can you scan the QR? Let me copy it again. Apologies for this.
It's okay. I think scanning is better.
So even the
Yes, the QR code takes us to the Padlet link. Yes.
Okay. So please just add the story or incident of one student who's struggled in your class, and those who are part of this session, if you feel that you can add, it's accessible to me and maybe I can share somehow with all the others. If there is a way, I can always read your responses even after this session. So, and you can write even after the session, since we are left with only 2 or 3 more minutes, or am I done with the time already? I would just
2 minutes left.
Okay, I would
2
just
minutes.
Okay, I'll just quickly wind up. Okay, let's all continue building classrooms where every learner belongs. This was the basic idea behind today's session and behind this inclusive teaching practices theme of this conference. So I'll wind up with Q&A session. I would like to know how could you use this tomorrow? Is there any strategy that you would like to use with your learners in the classroom? One idea or one key takeaway of today's session. I would love to see and hear if there was anything that meant to be fruitful or something for you. Okay, you are here. I'm looking at the chat now, waiting for you to just write one key takeaway, one idea. Thank you so much.
If I may, Miss Sadia.
Yes, please.
Thank you. Thank you, Sadia Tariq, for such an insightful and engaging session. Your perspectives on how inclusive classrooms are built through practical learning-centered strategies that provide equitable support and ensure every student feels valued and able to participate have given us much to reflect on as we continue working toward more inclusive and effective English language teaching practices. We will now move on to the question and answer session. I would like to invite participants to continue posting their questions and comments in the chat box as we will address as many of them as time allows. I would like also to thank our audience for their active participation and thoughtful engagement throughout the session. We hope today's discussion inspires new ideas, meaningful conversations, and continued collaboration among educators and professionals in our field. On behalf of the Queen Rania Teacher Academy and Georgia State University, thank you for being part of the 4th Annual English Language Conference 2026. We look forward to seeing you next year, and we wish you had a productive and inspiring conference experience. Thank you, everyone. And now we will start answering the questions that you are posting on chat.
Thank you so much,
any questions.
Thank you so much to all who have thanked, and thank you so much for letting me be part of this amazing platform. I thoroughly enjoyed, and the sessions that I attended prior to mine were very, very informative, insightful, and there are multiple key takeaways of this interesting and amazing platform. So hats off to you, and clapping for all of you for all your efforts.
Thank you. Thank you so much. Thank you so much. About the certificates, they will be sent to you through email.
Okay. I cannot see any questions around.
No, there are no questions.
Okay, then. Thank you so much. That's all from my end.
Thank you for hosting this session, Ms. Sadia, and we are looking forward to seeing you in the very near future. Thank you, everyone. Have a nice day and have a nice evening. See you next year, inshallah. Bye-bye.
See you. Bye-bye.